Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy, and I teach psychology, child development on the Westminster campus. And what I would like to do for my final project is walk you through a lesson that I did this semester that I changed up a little bit um, based on our sessions with TWP. So it's a lesson on memory that actually expands itself into some other topics. And all I really want to share with you, though, for this is the sort of introduction to the idea um, that I talk about. So, about half of it will be me taking you through it as though you're a student in my class and you can do it if you like, yeah, or not, or just simply um, watch kind of what I do. I You might enjoy kind of doing part of it, and then the rest of it will be me just kind of talking about how I continue it on. Not for the entire lesson, but still just a piece of it. So I'm going to put myself in the corner, I say to my students, and just kind of walk you through this. So we are studying 0 to 2 year olds, a very important time of life. And we've talked about what this time of life, what the purpose of development during this time of life is. And oftentimes we say it's to learn to walk and to talk and to use our motor skills. And what I really like to emphasize about this time of life is that it is the point when the architecture of the brain is being blueprinted, that we come into this world with a blueprint in place, but then all of the aspects of our memory, of our personality, of our self, and who we are to become, all of that architecture gets laid down during the first year to 2 years of life. And so that is really, and a lot of that is about how we learn to regulate ourselves, regulate our emotions, um, and regulate our behavior and so forth. Even though 2 year olds aren't great at doing that necessarily, it's still where the architecture for that first gets laid down. So, this is an introduction to the idea of brain learning memory and the development of the self. So, what you will need for this, if you want to play along, you will need a blank piece of paper, a some paper to like lined paper if you like to write on for some activities, a pen to write with, and if you like some colored pencils or crayons or something like that. You don't have to, but it might just take you more into it. But this is what my students need when we do this. So the first thing I want you to do is take a walk. I would like you, if you have a quarantine partner, somebody that you're with at this time, grab them, see if they'll do this with you, if they have the time, and ask them to join you for this. In class, what I would say is find a partner, 2 to 3, no more. I ask you to take a walk around your home and yard. In class, I usually ask them to take a walk down to the hall, to the coffee den, and back. No real instructions here. You have no real goal. Simply walk and return within 3 to 5 minutes. Just kind of go do a walk. If you can do it with someone, that would be fantastic. After returning, answer the questions on the next slide. So in class, when they leave, I put down hard copies of paper for them to fill out. So you can just kind of um, pause this and go do your walk if you want to do it, and then come back and we'll work on the questions. Maybe. Okay, there I am. My students like when I put my little thing up here because I feel like they're talking to me. So I don't know if you like that or not. So when you get back on your sheet of paper, your note sheet, simply jot down your first thoughts. So on your walk, what do you remember seeing, smelling, hearing, touching, feeling emotionally, and thinking? So that's kind of the first thing. So you can just take some time to do that. And then the other questions are, if you had a partner, did they influence or impact your experience and how? Write 1 to 2 sentences summing up your walk. And then I'd like you to define the word experience in your own words, just what you think it is. So again, take a moment, pause this recording, and just jot these thoughts down. See, smell, hear, touch, feel, think. You can add taste if you stop to eat something. Um, and then your partner and your summation and your definition. Pause me. Right. So if you've come back, if you had a partner, this is what I would like you to do. I would like you to just sit with your partner with your notes and take turns and share with them. Pick out your strongest two senses that you remember the most about, and read word for word what you wrote. So don't extrapolate, don't kind of paraphrase, but read word for word what you wrote down on your sheet. That's for the senses. And then choose and read either what you were feeling or thinking, or how your partner impacted your experience. You can certainly do all of these. I just kind of in class try to have them choose some things that they're comfortable with. Word for word again. So what came to you, and then also share your summary of your walk. And when you finish kind of discussing that, I'll go through this and then you can pause me and do it. So when you finished doing that, like reading word for word, just talk about like what was similar in your experience, sensory wise, feeling wise, thinking wise, what was different, like how you went on the same walk, you were together, you're in the same place, but how was it different? Um, did one of you pick up on a different sense more than the other? Like, anyway, discuss those things, how it was different, and what do you think creates the differences? So have those conversations. You can leave this slide up if you like, and pause me, and then just kind of go through that. Okay, and so this is where that's kind of the doing of something, the exercise, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more. This would be more in discussion with you or with my students. So, when asked what makes the greatest difference in a child's development, and you do this early in the class, we talk about just their ideas about what makes the biggest difference in how a child develops. Um, they and people, and we often answer experience. So we think that experiences have the biggest impact on who we become, our personality, just who we are, just how a child develops. But what is an experience? And so I just want, we can, if we were together, maybe we would share what you wrote down for your definition about how you define an experience. What is it? And what do we bring to our experiences? So you went on a walk, you came back, you wrote down in detail for different senses, different thoughts, feelings, all those things, exactly kind of what you remembered. But when you went on your walk and your partner, if you had one, went on their walk, what did you each bring differently to your experience, to that experience? So there are things such as our past experiences, what we've done in the past, how those have gone, our ways of thinking, feeling, and sensing the world. I talk a lot about developing the lens through which we see the world. That's what development is about. It's about creating a lens through which then we perceive and understand the world and ourselves. So you're bringing your ways of thinking. Your partner brings their ways. Everybody brings their own ways. Um, and I misspelled sensing. Sorry about that. So, so it goes. And then we also bring our beliefs, thoughts, feelings about ourselves, others in the world. So we're bringing all of our baggage, but all of our lens, all of our perceptions, all of who we are already to that experience. But so that's what we bring to the experience. Now, what creates an experience? Again, this would be a point of discussion that we could have. What do you think creates an experience? But that's all I really show, the brain. But how does a brain, what I really want to get to is what is going on? What does an experience look like inside of a brain? What is happening inside of us when we go for a walk and we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel, think? What is going on in here that then makes that later into a memory or dictates what we recall when we get back? So that's kind of what I like to talk about. All right, so we start with the idea of the neuron, cute little neuron. And what I'd like you to do on your blank sheet of paper, on one side of it, I want you to go online, you can use your phone, you can use a computer, find an image of a neuron, draw it, and then label the soma, dendrites, axon, and axon terminals. And so you'll have to kind of look around, do a little research, find those pieces and parts, and draw it. So give a little time for that. You can pause here and do that. Pause. I'm freezing.